All right. Welcome to another Georgia Northwestern Model Railroader Club clinic. Tonight we're going to be doing some weathering. We're going to touch mostly on rolling stock. I'll talk about locomotives and structures and some other weathering ideas. And this is an open forum. This is going to be very basic, and I'm just going to, there's 1,000 different ways to weather. This is how I'm currently weathering. Next month it may change, but that's a good thing because you don't want all your weathering to be uniform. It needs to be different. And if y'all have any ideas, contributions, raise your hand, speak up, and share it with the rest of us. And this is, I'm winging it. I don't have any notes. I'm just going to do it what I do at my hobby desk at home. First and foremost, let me get rid of the elephant in the room. So you won't be wondering what's wrong with his hand. He looks like he's bionic. I wish I was. About 3 Thursdays ago, working on a model railroad layout, a circular saw got me. And all is well. I didn't lose anything. It scared I had to change my pants. I had to have some stitches and damage. They've already done surgery on that, just waiting for the nerves to grow back together. And I've got it covered up so I don't gross anybody out, nobody loses their lunch. It looks pretty good compared to what it did 3 weeks ago. Which brings up a situation with us as model railroaders. We don't realize the stuff that we touch and handle and utilize in our hobby. We do use power tools, and we need to be aware of safety and how to use them properly, make sure that we don't get in a hurry, no shortcuts. If you need safety glasses, put on safety. If you need hearing protection, wear your hearing protection. Because once something happens and the accident happens, you can't go back and undo it. It's done, and sometimes it's for life. I got lucky. This is going to be just temporary setback, but it could have been a whole lot different. Using ladders, we're going up and down ladders, and to make sure that your ladder is, don't do anything foolish. And sometimes we don't want to move the ladder. We'll reach, almost get there. Instead of going down the ladder, move the ladder, go back up and do it the right way, do it safely. Utility knives, X-Acto knives, make sure that you're cutting, am I doing this a good way? Think it through, because bad things can happen. And sometimes we mess with high voltage, household voltage. Make sure that the circuit breaker's off, and double check and triple check that the voltage, the breaker's off. It's just this kind of stuff that goes on. Step stools, trip hazards. You got an extension cord. Okay, well, I'll be back down here tomorrow. Well, you're not back down there for 2 weeks, and in the meantime, your wife's going across, or the kids are going across an extension cord. That's a trip hazard that can hurt. And how many of us have layouts that are in the basement or upstairs? We're going upstairs or downstairs daily, constantly, and are we holding the handrail, or are we just winging it, thinking, well, I've done these stairs 1,000 times. Well, if you've done it 1,000 times without the handrail, you're due. Do I now?
We put the handrail up there.
Yeah. And use it. Don't just put it up. You got to use the handrail. Super glue. Dremel tools, cutting wheels. When you're cutting rail, are you putting on safety glasses, or are you just taking the chance and just, I'll get by, I can do it. This won't take a minute. I can do this real quick. And some of us even use lasers for leveling and stuff. And that's an eye thing right there waiting to happen. And not just you, but your buddies around you, make sure that they're aware that the laser's on and not to be looking at the laser. And just anything and everything, can I do this? Is there a better way to do this? Am I doing this safely? And just as something as innocent as an untied shoelace. It's innocent. Oh, I've done this, I can make it. And you're walking backwards and your hands are full of carrying something. All it takes is one misstep and you, I'm going down. I wish I could go back and tie my shoe. Well, it's too late. You're following your tailbone, backside of alignment, it's now and forever, and you can't go back and change it. So that's enough for the safety lecture. All right, on with weathering. Like I said, I'm winging it, and while I'm thinking about it, I want to knock this out first. This is a technique that I don't think I've seen it done, but I and my brother have used it quite a bit. You've got a 3D model and you've painted it and it all looks good, but just a little accent, and this will do. With an artist pencil, black, just going in and added some shadow lines. Are we in the frame? Can you tighten up? Can you get in tighter?
Yeah, I'm tight.
Is that max? Because this is going to be faint. There you go. All right. So just can you see that? Just adds a dimension. It was already dimensional, but that was a lot easier. And you can do this with what they call the panel lines, but this is, to me, much more controllable. Now you've got 3 panels in that door. It's definitive. Just tip for the day. Okay. This goes here. All right. So first and foremost, here's 2 different cars, and yeah, I'll let you move the camera rather than. One of them's been dull coated. One of them is, and this is a before and after. This is the before. This is the dull coat. I don't know if you can see it in camera, but it's definitely got some what we call some tooth to it. It's got a rough edge, and you need that because under magnification you've got hills and valleys, and you're going to need those hills and valleys to trap these powders and chalks and stuff that we're going to use. If it's a glossy surface, there's nothing there. It's all flat. There's nothing for it to stick to adhere to. So we're going to put this one to the side. And where I start is at the base with the trucks and with the wheel sets. The wheel faces. Here it is. And this is a streaking brusher. It's a rust color. So I can do that. And all right, like so. And it comes with an applicator in the cap. And I'm going to try to turn this to the camera. And we're just going to give the wheels a turn and a turn. Reload. And what you don't want is your car fleet to be rolling on just a black abyss. It needs to be, and then we're going to bring out some of the details in the trucks. The face of the wheel. And if I get some on the tread, it's okay. It'll wear off. It's a rust, just any rust color. This just happens to have the brush in the lid or cap, which makes it easy to apply. And this is an ammo product. But so I'm going to start with the wheel faces. Okay. That didn't take long at all. So we're well on our way to having a weathered car.
What's that called?
It's ammo. Ammo's the brand, and it just says streaking brusher. And this is rust color. They got black, gray, reds, browns, oxide. So I don't know if you can, if that's showing up. Now, on the face of the wheel, not the truck, just the wheel, the face of the wheel. Now we're going to work on the side frames. And let's do this. Pass this down to Bert, wake him up. I use a lot of just art craft paints. This one here, burnt umber, it can be apple barrel, it can be the deco art, just anything. And this, like I said, this is what I'm using today. It may change next week. And let me give a squirt of some of our, let's see, where's your palette? There's your burnt umber. And burnt umber. And burnt umber, all right. Okay, you got your brush. Here's my brush. All right. So we're going to take the burnt umber, and usually I've got some nasty brushes that aren't worth anything. Well, yeah, they are worth something, because those are the bent brushes that are no good. That's what I use for painting the trucks. You're just going to dab it in the paint and dab it all over the side frame. So just load up your brush. And we're not too worried about what it's looking like right now, because we're not through. It's a process. Oh, we're going to get this one here. So just get it all inside. I don't know what kind of trucks you got, Bettendorf, Andrews. Just make sure you get it in all the pockets, crevices, springs, everything. We're going to work from the bottom and work our way to the top. And one more side frame. Now it's still pretty dark, but that gives us a base to work with. Okay, now flip it back over. Now we need to lighten it a touch. And don't concern yourself with cleaning your brush. When I'm weathering, I don't clean my brush. It's all going to come out. If it blends some burnt umber with some light, and just a little dab. And now we're just going to lighten that a little bit. Wrong color, Dave, wrong color. Okay. And just, no, this is brown oxide, but any lighter brown, you don't want to go too buff or too sandy, but it depends. Depends on where this car has been. If it's been in a sandy desert area, it's going to be lighter. If it's been in the South Georgia red clay area, it's going to be more reddish. Okay. And is that me? All right, so, and this kind of right. It ain't gonna take much. This is, what I say, brown oxide? No, this is nutmeg brown. Brown oxide is what I normally use, but I didn't, it's not running. Let me take the white off of that and see if it doesn't change the exposure on the car a little bit. I think the white's throwing it. Yeah, brush the entire side frame. Put the dark down first and then come back with your lighter. Did that help? All right. Okay, I think the white was throwing off the camera exposure. All right. And the paper or the paper towel will come in handy when we start doing the powders and stuff. It'll keep your cutting mat nice and clean. All right. Let's see. Do y'all want to lighten the trucks some more, or are you good with what you got? What we're going to do is we're going to come back with some powders later. While this is going, we're going to go into the shell, and in the meantime, hopefully your truck side frames will be dry by the time we come back to this side frame. So, car body. Just art paint. Yeah, just regular old 50-cent, $1 a bottle, depends on where you're at. Walmart, yep. If they have it in stock. Every time I go into Walmart, it's a limited color selection. What the colors I'm looking for is Michael's, Hobby Lobby. Yeah, okay. All right, and use your distilled water to clean your brush. And, okay. All right. How many of y'all have a supply or a kit or set of the Pan Pastels? Okay, I've got mine all stacked up. They are stackable. If you take the lids off, it saves workspace. I'm just going to throw this plug out real quick. These little sticks, they're smaller than popsicle sticks. If I can get one out, and these are great for getting down into your bottle to get the pigment off the top to get it to stir. Sometimes it settles and you shake, and it never gives you a good viscosity of paint to work with. All right, so we want to do, back to the Pan Pastels. Yeah, I've got a set of these and they work. I got some stuff I like better. These right here. Now this is the old Tamiya, I guess used to make these. Powder, it's a set. Yeah, we'll do this. There's an A, a B, and a C, and we'll do this. Get it in the frame. Is that glare? Got that? Okay. And they're different colors. The ones that I use the most is this right here, the A set. It's got the sand, light sand, mud. Then I use from the C the lighter orange. Not so much the gunmetal. The silver's rare. Snow, I don't use that. Some soot. Here's your darker rust. I worked at the Marine base, and I was in the repair division for over, from '89 to 2019, doing photography, the photo lab, and I saw a lot of rust. I took a lot of pictures of rust, and there's new rust, old rust, then you get to that bubbly, corroded, crusty rust. I mean, this is all kind of shades of rust. But these are the ones that I use, and then we're going to start with this. Let me see, this is my go. Now, that was Tamiya. I've seen these at Hobby Lobby now. That's what it looks like. Let's see. I got an unopened pack somewhere. But anyway, it's the same thing, sand, light sand. They call it the same stuff. So I'm guessing, because I've about used up all of my light sand on my original Tamiya. But what I'll do, and I've taken a brush, and it's got to be firm. Now, I've cut that. Let me get in the frame. Where are you? See how short the hairs are on that? That's a haircut. But I made it that short so that I can take, let me see if I'm in frame, take my light sand, and I'm just going to go down the rivets. Am I in the frame? Let me get this out of the way. This is throwing off the exposure. All right. Okay. So you just, I'm going to start off heavy, hit the tops, and then as you pull it down, it'll weaken and disappear and just kind of fade into. And with the short-haired brush, you can push it into, and we're probably going to end up doing the whole car side like this, but I want these to be accented, the ribs, and just, and we're already better off than just a car, none weathered, going down Any of y'all already have some weathered cars, or all your cars still out of the box? Okay. Out of the box? Okay. So you do your scenery, you get your buildings, and your rail train out of the box, everything looks nice and pristine, but it just doesn't quite pull off scale model, you know. All right. Now along the bottom, let's do this. Hit the bottom of the door here. I'm still in the frame. Yeah, I need to go that way some, so I can stay. And you can't mess this up. I mean, if it ain't like what you want, get a Q-tip and some water and just start wiping it off. It will release and come off. What I like about this over an airbrush has its place, and it does have some nice things you can do with it. And the airbrush is faster when you're doing a fleet of cars. I'll accumulate at my airbrush desk 10 or 20 cars, and I can airbrush them in a morning with everything. But with an airbrush, if you're airbrushing and it spits, oh boy, that's not fun. Not fun when it spits. Now you got a real mess on your hands. All right, so now for the roof, again, I'm gonna go to my light sand and just start off at the top, just in different places. Just kind of mix it up and just kind of blend it in. You can do stronger in some places. Let's go ahead and get some of this darker to blend that down that went kind of light on us. And let's do this. I think we're through brush painting. So, Eric, if you'll pass those scissors down to Bert, and Bert, take your paintbrush, and what's the gentleman's name next to you? Jerry. Jerry with a J or a G? J, all right. And trim your paintbrush. And now don't cut it as short as this. This has been worn down. It used to be longer. But I would trim 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. Leave a 1/16, a good, solid, fat 1/16 of an inch. And you don't do this to a $15 brush, I promise you. Save those. You may take a couple of passes. Yeah. Does it feel pretty stiff? And Eric, pass that down. I only got the one. And I'm going to keep working with this. Let's go with a little bit different color. And like I said, this is very, very basic. You can take this to the 9th degree. There are a gazillion videos on YouTube. Yep. Where's gazillion? Yeah. Yes. Yes. I think a Google was like one with 100 zeros or something like that, but this is more than that. All right, so. Okay, so here's.
We should apply the same.
Yes. Yeah, the middle, whatever the middle is, light sand, yeah. But you can use the sand if you want something lighter. This is just, the sand is a little bit more yellowy, orangey to me. I prefer to stay in the gray area, no pun intended. But there's the before, here's our deering. I'm sorry, that's the after. Here's the before, so that's where we're at. Not a whole bunch to look at, just except for the wheel faces and the side frames, but here's where we're at. And that looks a lot better on the side of the track in a spur somewhere, rolling down the track. It's got some personality now. It doesn't look like the car next to it. And all we've done is just a little bit of brush and a little bit of, not the pastels, but now this car, with it being this color, is not going to show much in the way of rust. But what we can do, we can take the monogram. Let me see what I got here. Let's take that snow that I was talking about. Silver, snow. Let's see. This might be too much. It's gonna be. I don't want that stark. I'd rather be something. What is this? This was a railroad set that I got. This was. I went with my son to a IPMS, which is International Plastic Modelers Society convention, and there was a gentleman selling this, and I think it's it's either the MIG or the ammo, or what is it that Craig Brotman put, AK? It's one of those three. Here's what we got. All right, so let's try something light. Let's try this. And this stuff goes a long ways. In fact, what I do is, instead of putting my brush into the powder, give it a couple of shakes. This is a very, very fine, almost like talcum powder. And just kind of waller around in the lid. And take this Central of Georgia monogram. Let's make this where y'all can see. Okay. And we're just going to kind of drag down. And how did that work out for you, Dave? Okay. Let's see if we can do these letters over here. It's not the effect I was looking for. Let's do... Looking. Oh. And if anybody tells you to get chalks and stuff, I've used the chalks and I've whittled and sanded, and it's not fine enough to do what we're doing here. So I have an accumulation of chalks. And you can use these makeup applicators, and I've tried them, and it's just... I just prefer the stiff brush. Is your brush working out for you, Bert?
Seems like this stuff is...
Is it transferring?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. The stiffer the brush, the better, because you can just, you got to dig into it. Okay.
Question.
Yep.
How do you blend this?
How do I do what?
You blend it when you're done?
You mean,
Is that the way you leave it?
that's pretty much, I mean, I can work some other colors in here. Because you see there's some unpainted or untouched places that are still raw. And you just take the brush and just keep working. So now it's going to be stronger around the ribs. And then I pick up a little bit to hit the panels. Let's see. And if you take that compared to, are we in the frame? Got to push it down. No, okay. I do not. This stuff is so fine. Now, if you're handling your cars, going from layout to layout, if you're in free mow or something and you're putting them in the box, come out of the box. But golly, I'm trying to think. And usually when I do a dull coat or a sealant to seal this, it goes away. The sealant will absorb the, I'm gonna say dust, the powder, and then your powder just goes into the absorbed sealant and it goes away. But this is pretty hardy. I mean, I'm rubbing hard and picking up, and I don't know. But I don't handle my cars a whole lot, and when I do, I usually pick them up in the middle and do this. When you're handling your cars around the layout and going from room to room or from the hobby bench to the layout, do not carry them like this. Either have your fingers under it or turn it upside down where something is under that car. Because you'll be walking along, you'll hit the door or side frame or the side of the bench, and if there's nothing under it, the next thing is the will be the floor. And if you got carpet, you might be okay. They don't bounce very well. So when you're toting, have something between the car and the floor. Your fingers are just, I prefer to invert it. And I'll carry them inverted around the layout from the hobby bench to the layout back and forth. And like tonight, loading up, they're inverted, they go in the box. They got here inverted and on the table. So yeah, don't ask me how I know that. No, don't go there. Now, these cars, it's going to be hard to show rust because, well, we'll try one just to see how it goes. We're going to take a light rust. Okay. All right, let's try. And then what I'm going to do is I'll try to. Well, let's go to the roof. Well, that's black. That's not going to show much. Let's see. Yeah. And again, I'm getting this out of the lid. All right, let's go. The pastels I've used, and I liked them at first, but the more I used them, the more I kept going back to this stuff. And this was easy. I mean, there's you don't always get the colors that you want, but you don't get all the colors in the one set. That you got to get the rust set, the gray set, and this was to me. I think it is. Yeah, it is, and it's packed in there. So I think that's what Bert's problem is. It's so packed in the container, it's hard to get it on the brush. But if you got your brush stiff enough, you can get in and dig it out and transfer it to the brush. This, let me just see. So I'm going over my light sand that I had, and it's transferring. So, and you don't have to keep reloading your brush because you want some heavy, some light, scattered about. Usually like for this, here we go. I'm gonna hit it here heavy, skip over to here heavy, and it's getting thinner on my brush. So now everything is more random. So I don't go heavy and it gets lighter, and you get heavy and you get lighter as you go down the body. Just scatter the heaviness, as you work the brush around. Okay. So that car looks like it has been at least got a couple 100 miles on it at least. It's not freshly shopped. All right. Sure.
Are you in favor, or do you use the Attendees handle liners?
I have these,
Right.
and this is Mr. Weather, but it's the same stuff. Panel liners, does the Tamiya have the applicator in the cap?
Yes, it is.
Okay, this one does not.
Yeah, you should. There are 4 or 5 different colors in the PM.
Yeah.
Which is very good. And I didn't know if you use that applicator first before you started your weathering, or whether you can do it after.
You can do it before, But I've discovered that if you want to use it, what he's talking about is, this is like an India ink. And you use if you want to, now these panel lines are very, very thin. Let's talk about this car right here. This one here, you have definite panel braces. So you would take not this brush, but like a double alt brush or a 10 alt brush, dip it in there, and theoretically you could touch it right here with the black. It's like a runny, thin paint. Touch it right there, and it would run down, all the way down the side of that brace. It works better if you have a gloss coat on there. If you've got a gloss coat, yes, it will run. So that's another step you have to go through. Or what Dave does, and this is with the pencil. Yeah. And I've got more control over that, because when you touch the ink, somewhere where your brush touches, there's going to be a little dab right there where your brush touched to release so this to me is more controllable. I don't have to do the gloss coat to get it to run, and you just hit both sides, and there's my shadow line. And I keep an eraser nearby, keep my point sharp.
You would do that before you do the pastels, because you don't want to mark the pastels like that, right?
This can be done anytime. Yeah, I've done it before, done it after. If you do it before and you come back with your chalks or powders, it kind of softens the black, softens the shadows. If you want sharp shadows, then do it afterwards. So let me. And we're going to hit the side of that door. Okay. So, where am I? So, compare these braces to these braces. And it's just an artist pencil. Just keep a pencil sharpener nearby, because it's going to get dull. And just keep a sharp pencil.
You mentioned twice a little bit. I know somebody tried this with paper, right? It doesn't work. It's got to be marked.
Yes. A lead pencil, number 2, it don't matter. It's got to be an artist black. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just graphite, and it won't stay. Yeah. So, and y'all have got y'all's artist pencils. I already sharpened them for you. Let's see. So there's panel line. That's the same thing we did on the door. It's the exact same thing. Just if you want to add a shadow accent somewhere, that's all I did.
David, if I missed this again, do you go in and prepare the car first? Like I said, you first say gloss coat and not gloss coat.
The gloss coat was only if you were going to use this for panel lines, so that when you touch it, it's just like think of it as alcohol with India ink in it. It's pretty much the same thing. With a small brush, dip it in there. It don't have to be, to me, it can be that. And you can make different constitutes. This here is a light wash. This is 9 milliliters of ink to 16 ounces of alcohol. If you want to double it, make it 18 ounces, make it a medium wash. Take your a single alt brush or 5 alt brush, and you just dip it in the ink. And if it's gloss coated, it's going to be a smooth surface. So when you touch the tip of your paintbrush right here, the ink's going to naturally run down that if it's a gloss coat. If it's dull coat, it may stop. And that means you got to put another dab up here. Now you've doubled the chances of having a dab up there at the top. So I just prefer the pencil. It's a lot easier, cleaner, no having to clean your brush. just a sharp pencil, and if it's gloss, if it's dull coated, you're good to go. For the dull coat, I've used this, if it doesn't have to, and that's what this car was done with tonight. And I think we hit, is it working?
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's a lot of dull coat for a couple of, But then there's, I've used, for locomotives and stuff where I'm a little bit more particular, this is the same stuff. There's 2 cans of the same thing, I think. Yeah. I put on there new and put the date stuff. I got a reserve so I know which can's old, which one's used. Yes, sir.
David, have you tried using hairspray instead of the dull coat? Because it's clear. I'm just wondering if anybody tried that or not. Just thought about
I hadn't thought about that. Now, if you want a really flat, the Tamiya flat, that's the go-to if you want it flat. No gloss, no glare, no reflections, anti-glare. Yeah, that's the Tamiya flat is the way to go. So those are the 3 flats. Whatever is close, near at hand. If I'm doing a lot of cars, I'll do them with that. I mean, this works. Locomotives, the 2 F units, I think they were done with the Tamiya flat, so they're pretty dull. And let's do this. Do I now?
The big can, what is that?
This is Rust-Oleum, Krylon, Rust-Oleum, your big box flat. Yeah. Clear coat, clear enamel matte.
Okay, so you spray it on all of those before you do them?
Yep, and the way I do that is I do not have a booth. I have to go outside, so I've used this board a couple of times. But I just put a wide tape, and that keeps the trucks from, it can't go nowhere. It keeps it isolated, and I'll hit down low so that I get the bottom, and some of it may bounce up, and I get the middle, and it's got to go on wet, and I come across and I hit this right there where I'm hitting the roof and the top side. Then I hit this about 3 times. I hit low, middle, high, and then again low, middle, high, and I may do a 4th pass and repeat. So one coat. Yeah. If it goes on wet, when you spray it on, it should be wet, and it shouldn't be orange pilly looking. It should look wet, and then let it dry, and it dries pretty quick.
So you're not only 12 inches away, you're only close.
I never measured it. I would be shake. I go 1, 2, and I start spraying out here. Start spraying, pass through, finish. Start spraying, pass through, finish. Start spraying, pass through, finish. Yeah, you start spraying before and all through the pass. Just no. Let it go. Now I'm not using plastic wheels. All my wheels are metal wheels. So yeah.
So is there any risk of you get a coupler? So they don't.
I don't worry about it. No.
Okay.
Now you don't want to paint the coupler. If I paint the coupler, it's going to be with an airbrush because I don't want to brush paint. Usually brush paint, unless it's really thin, the knuckles, they need to slide against each other to open up to get the glad hand. Is that the glad hand? No, the glad hand's anyway. To get the knuckles to slide so they'll open up and fall into place. If the paint is flat and not shiny, it won't slide against the other knuckle and open up. But I have airbrushed them before lightly, just ever so lightly. But for the most part, usually when they're coupled up, you can't see the couplers anyway. That's not the part of the car that people see, unless it's at the end of a spur or the end of a train.
Go back to the first car you did. Like some of that was a little stark. You would go back and maybe take brown, a similar color to the.
You can tone it down. If you've got a box car color, I don't know what all's buried in here. Yeah, this is kind of brown looking right here. So let me see what brown this is. This here is. This says it is burnt sienna shade. So we'll take this, and where do you see start? Right over here, maybe?
Right to the red grading. Okay.
Yeah. So, and Is it not so stark now? Okay. Well, if Scott likes it, I like it. How about that? Okay. But I know there's techniques that y'all have, I wanted to do this and not this car. Like I said, back to the rust. Let's go to the roof here. And let's do some black. Now, black goes a long way. Where's my soot? Mud, rust. And Bert, y'all just shared that, yeah, and just play with it. So yeah, this is, I think I still got black on here. I mean, brown from the. And again, I'm gonna put this on the brush. Let me get in camera again so y'all can see. All right, so here's our roof. I'm gonna touch this black soot. I'm gonna hit it here again because it's getting thinner and thinner, and I want it to be random. So now I'm coming back. Now it's thin. Just keep, and now you just run back and forth, back and forth. Just kind of stretch it out. Okay. Now I want to do a light rust. That's orange. This isn't as light as I want. Let's try this. This is gonna be pretty. All right. And let's do a little rust area right in here. Now rust ages. Okay, so now we come back with a darker rust and go to the inside of that. Yeah, I'm trying to knock some off on the paper towel. Come over here and hit that right there. All right. So you can see that right here, this is the heart of our rust. That's where the problem started. Can you get it any tighter, Scott? Yeah, right. So this is where the problem started. This is where our rust started. It's the oldest rust, and now it's spreading out from that, where the paint is turning loose and the rust is invading and moving across the surface. So we start out with a light rust, and you go into the heart of it, and with the darker rust. So let's do this. We'll come over here. I won't go. I didn't do what I was telling you I was doing. Just scatter this totally at random, different degrees. And now we're going to just kind of go back and forth and just blend it all in. Are y'all seeing this? Is my hands in the way, or just speak up? I don't think you want me to take it off. All right. So, like I said, I would say you can't mess it up. If you don't like it, take a Q-tip, and if nothing else, if the water don't get it, Windex will usually take it off. Okay. But I really want some lighter rust in there. We need different shades of rust because this is going to be in different degrees. Let's see, we got this. It's pretty dark, pretty dark. I think I stacked them up light to dark. Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty dark. This is pretty nasty right here. All right, let's take this. We're gonna, yeah, and let's just say this started in the channel where it wasn't draining properly. So you don't need one color rust, you need multiple colors of rust. And then if you really want to get, let's try some of this. I'm just looking for something wet. That's pretty thick. Just take a brush. I'm gonna just pick up a corner of it. I'm gonna go right into the heart. Let's go right over here. And now, let's take, kind of flatten it out a little bit. And let's go with this dark stuff right here. And I'm dabbing that on there. Now, I will let that sit, and then just kind of blow the residue off. And now you've got texture. This is that corrosion, bubbly, nasty, hurt yourself rust. So. Probably, yeah. Stub toes and yeah, tetanus. That's tetanus right there. That's a good glob of tetanus. So. And all I did for that was just a touch of wet paint, just something to give the powder to stick to and have the raw powder sit there. Don't push the powder into the paint. Let the powder sit on top of the paint. Now you just see me dab it to flatten the paint because it was a hump. I just hit with my finger just to dab it, to push it down, to level it off. So now I got a flat, wet spot. And I just added the powder to that, and that powder will sit in that wet, flat spot of paint, and you just blow it off, and now there's your texture to the rust. So it's not just a color, now we've got texture to the rust. So, but yeah, your Pan Pastels, you need a stiff brush. I don't have much success with a limp brush. I can't force it into the dull coat part of the paint into the valleys. It needs to go into the valleys and you push it in. And like I said, I handle my cars and I don't have a problem with it. My fingers are always clean when I get through handling. My fingers are still clean. Now they're not clean after this, but once I'm done. So y'all got any techniques you want to share or questions? Which pastels?
The Pan Pastels that you tried to make up wedge sponge.
Oh yeah, these. Yeah, it's. If I was doing O or G scale maybe, because this is really broad. I can't get that fine. You know, I can take this brush and I can take any of these powders and push them into the. Yeah, yeah. This is very, very broad, and I can't. I mean, it streaks, but I could do the same thing with this one brush. This is my go-to brush, and you've seen that I've worn it out. It needs to be replaced. I'm about to the nub. Don't have any more hairs. Once it starts scraping, yeah, I'll get a new brush.
So you take a number of different brushes and modify them so they have stiff bristles.
Yep, cut it down to the like a 1/16 of an inch, And this one here is a, was it Master's Touch number 4 chisel blender? And that's what it started out as. And yeah, see, that's got too much. Now, something like this, let me see. Now, you would think I messed up. Let me see if I can recover myself. Yeah, it's not my car anyway. Yeah, this was a loaner. But, all right. So, yeah. Now, another thing is if you're trying to get a real thin blend line, or let's just say a rain streak, and your brush is too broad, I just take an index card and cut some slits. And what I've done here, let me show you the good side. I've got marks all the way to the top, so that I want to hit right here on that rib. When you put the card down there, you can't see where the rib is. So if I put that line on that rib, now I know I'm going to hit that rib. And let's see. I need to reload the brush. Let's do this. All right. So I guess all of y'all have a set of pastels. You just been scared to use it, or just don't know how, or how to begin, or again, YouTube can be your best friend. Let me go here between the panel lines and just hit the panel. And this will control. There we go. Let me hit down low. And this is going to be kind of dirty down here. I'll just continue while I got this on the brush. Yeah. And hit down here at the bottom. And I'm going to be random. I'm going to hit. And this down here can just be nasty. This is. Alright, and for that right there, I think I'll take a Q-tip. And where is. I didn't bring Windex. Let's just see how much this Q-tip will lift off. That weakened it somewhat. Yeah, we're trying to remove out my Windex. I think I did not bring it. I think I brought. Let me try alcohol. Let me see. This way over there. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Get a picture of you messing up Mark's car and send it to him.
Look at that. Ta-da. Now take another picture of it.
No.
Okay, we got it. It worked. The alcohol worked. All right. So, yeah, you screw up, start over. And the alcohol dries. I use the 91% only because, not for medicinal purposes, but because it dries faster than the 70%. It's less water than what the 70% has. So, just fan that in. So you screw up, we can recover. Yes, sir.
Now, I have older freight cars, so I don't know if they work on today's cars, but there were some old Mantua and AHM tank cars, and I wanted to change the numbers. And not mineral spirits, denatured alcohol never knew it was there.
Okay. I've heard the same thing with, you soak, if you got the numbers, you tear off and soak this in, I think it's the Walther's Salva set, and you can lay it over the numbers and just make sure that it's settled on there, and just leave it for about, I think it's 10, 15 minutes. That's an old Bob Hart thing. I don't know the exact, in fact, I may have the information on my phone, but
Well, I just used a Q-tip and pH alcohol, and it just like
lifted it right off. Yeah,
right off.
yeah. And if you just need to change one digit, just remove the one digit.
Magic markers work.
Yeah. So you can see I've weathered passenger cars lightly. I don't do too many rust buckets. I know some people go to the nines with weathering. Craig Brotman, yeah, I don't mind a building or two to that level, but I don't want every building on my layout to be total. I mean, there's one fella, he did a pizza bar. I would not eat a pizza. I would not. I would drive right on by. I ain't ordering a pizza from that place. But the George Salios, I think even George Salios has backed off on his, and he's replaced some of his buildings with some not so rust bucket, defunct looking stuff. Yes.
What I was going to mention is I modeled the 50s,
Okay.
and a spray paint didn't exist back then. And as I remember when I was a kid, there was dirt, it was road grime, stuff like that. But like the cars were relatively clean.
Passenger or freight? I know that the passenger trains went through a wash, like when they got to Atlanta or New York, Washington, New Orleans, they went through a wash.
Well, we used to walk around and what do you call it, crew track.
Yeah.
There's always cars there, and we actually walked down to the freight yard and never got arrested. But they appeared, they're cleaner to me.
Well,
And it affects the way I wear things.
true. Yeah, if you're doing the 50s and you got a 50s train, it's going to be relatively new and not too. I put some miles on it.
Yeah.
But I lived in Albany. Well, there was no wash station. The train coming from the city of Miami. Yeah, it might get washed in Miami and it might get washed in Chicago. But in between, no.
Yeah.
So by the time it got through Florida, middle of South Georgia into Albany, yeah, it had some miles on it. Or if it went through some rainstorms on the way up, all the stuff that got kicked up from the car in front of it.
Let's say this little trick we put on the end of this tank car.
The rooster tail.
From the wheels.
Yeah,
I think
that's a little
very
detail.
overlooked.
Yeah, that would be what he's talking about. I've got a mess going on up here. We're jumping all around. Go here, and let's see. I'm gonna turn the car upside down, and to make this kind of noticeable in the yellow, it probably won't take much. Let's try something light to begin with. So I'm gonna go back to my light sand. And again, my go-to brush, and where the wheels are, where it kicks up from the rooster tail from the car ahead of it. Let me see if am I doing anything? Yeah, got to dig it in there. And it's really hard to do with covered hoppers because there's just so much gear stuff in between. But you just start off heavy and then just work your way lighter as you go up. And this is kind of rough to do. The tank car was easy because it's a smooth dome kind of thing. But there's a tail hint that there is some splash from the car in front of it. But again, that's a detail you only see if it's the last car, if it's sitting on a spur and that end is exposed. I don't do that to all my cars, but I should. But yeah. Going back to airbrushing, it can take me a night for one car doing it by the brush. But an airbrush, I can do that with an airbrush, just pss, pss, and you're done. And yes, sir.
So say your technique with the car with the little slips in it would work very well for that with an airbrush.
Yes. And not all airbrushes are the same. There's different tips. My son does airplanes and he'll do panel lines. And it would be the same thing as this. You got to get an airbrush with a number 1 or number 0 tip or something to get fine. And you always, the way I would do it with an airbrush is very lightly, just stroke and get yourself planted so that you're not floating in space. So now you've got a reference. You know, I hit, that was a little, and if you're at like 10%, you can see I'm a little off. So you'll come back and you go, okay, that was right on. So you just go about 3 more passes right where you were, and you've got a reference because you're sitting right here. And then that way you just keep building it up 10, 20, 30, 40%, 10% at a time till you get the effect you're looking for. And if you want to go 90%, make it heavy. And if you start off here and you see how the airbrush should be lifting away as it goes up. I'm hitting heavy here, but this brush is further away as it goes up. So it would be lighter up there. So it would be heavy at the bottom and get lighter as it fade as it gets higher on the end of the car.
How do you do the rough streets on the tank car, white tank car?
It wasn't airbrush. Oh, okay. Here's another technique. Just a wood block, and if you want to, let me see, yeah. And to keep it straight, you can follow that block. Even though you're away from the ribs, use that block. And let's load up the brush again. You can use that. Now that is definitely a straight line. Because handheld, you're going to wander, but just set that up there and use it as a guide. And just no, probably with the tank car, that's probably freehand. Not one streak. It's probably pulling it down little by little to make sure I'm straight as I go. So yeah. Yes, sir.
That ammo streaking thing you showed us.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it. Do you think that would be useful for putting oils? Well, this is the chemical tank car, but do you think this would be good for putting oil stains around the top of the tank car?
I'm processing. It's buffering.
That's okay.
It's a 286 processor, if that means anything to you. Yeah.
I've worked on 8080.
It's not an Intel processor, I promise you. I'm gonna say yes and no. It depends on how. Yeah, it's going to go on. That kind of goes on thick, and I don't mind using it on the wheel faces because it's just going to be what it is. If it wanders, it's just going to come off anyway. But on that, control with that, and that's a nylon bristle brush. It's not very soft. It's very hard. Whereas a hair brush be softer. What's the effect you're trying to use? An oil stain,
Yeah.
a circle, or some odd shape of a circle?
You get oil tank cars. I mean, like where I live, there's a place that uses tank cars.
Okay.
And you can see the oil, on the side of the car and stuff like that when it's run down. And that's
Okay.
what I'm thinking, they don't. Well, where
So-
I'm modeling, they don't load it, but they get loaded on top.
Okay.
And the oil splashes. They generally don't clean up.
Okay.
after it's-
So you might want to use a glossy paint.
I'm thinking maybe which
Does
alcohol with,
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. And here's the alcohol. You can do an alcohol wash. Let me flip over to a side we haven't used yet. Mark's going to hate me, but let's see. Yeah, this is a light wash. You just take the brush, and we're just going to let's go over here and just kind of drag it down. And I'm going to skip over to here, and then I'll skip over to here, then go back over here. Let's get this in here, And you can see where the ink is settled into the latter steps. And if I put it on thicker, let's just see what happens if I do this and that. Let's go up here, let it run. Okay, and you can see how it's settled in there. And let's hit the other side. And I would let that dry like that, laying down. Then come back in the morning or an hour later with a wet Q-tip with alcohol and clean up the panels if you wanted to do that. Let me get a fresh Q-tip. And alcohol. Well, let's just see. It's still wet. Let's just see if we can just remove what we don't want. Yeah, it's not lifting. Like it's already dried. Again, the 91% alcohol will accelerate drying time. So, okay.
It's a little heavy, but it did bring up your ribs quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna lift that. Let's lift some of this.
This is alcohol.
Using alcohol.
That's just alcohol.
91% alcohol. It's $1 more, but it dries faster. It's worth $1 to me. I mean, I didn't bring a hair dryer with me tonight, but if you got a hair dryer hanging by, you can use that as well. Let's do some more. Okay. And let's clean this up a little bit. And probably need to go ahead and hit the whole side of the car because it would, one end of the car would not be treated any more different than the other end. So just to try to even it up. And I borrowed this car because it was yellow and it would show rust and the ink effect more so. That's going to dry. We're going to wick that with our brush and try to hit that some more. Okay. That's a little heavy down there. Let's wick some more. Looks about right. Let's clean that up a little bit. And we'll let that lie for just a touch.
When you're doing ladders, wouldn't it look better if you did it from upside down?
For a shadow line, or come back in there with a pencil and hit it with a pencil.
Yeah.
But yeah, but let me let this sit before I invert it and screw up everything we've done so far. think it through. All right, and if I can catch this in time, nope, it's already began to. And this wasn't much ink. The ink goes a long way into alcohol. Bird, y'all having any success over there?
Well, I think it came out looking reasonable.
Yeah. Anything just to take.
Yeah, to take, I mean, I mostly use this light sand color.
Yeah.
You definitely see a difference from the brake wheel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the brake wheel on Ford, because I'm planning to get rid of it.
Well,
I
yeah.
have to reapply these main boards because they fell off. So, most of them at least. This was the process of falling off, so I'm sure whatever way I glued them on when I was a teenager hasn't fixed it.
So let me try this pulling of the letters a little bit. This rail box. See if this will work. This B. Yeah. The R. but the black paint is running down the letters. I guess I owe Mark a boxcar, huh? Or leave it on the layout and we'll know which one Dave got a hold of. Now I got a friend down in South Georgia where I came from, does N scale, and he definitely knows which cars I got a hold of on the layout because they're the only ones that are weathered. But all right, so that's right. Yeah. All right. So there's our black wash. It's a little wet looking still, but it's pretty much set. Okay. It needs. Now, consider this. If you weather one side of your car one way and you weather the other side of the car the other way, will anybody be the wiser that there are two different? So your car can be psycho, bipolar, two different personalities. Yeah. I'll put this in the box with the clean side up. So yeah. So I know I go through great pains and I'll do the whole car at one time, but then I got to thinking, well, I'm just knocking myself out because the other side can be completely different. I can do graffiti on one side and the other side be pristine. So, yeah. So, y'all got to load me up with some more questions. The questions are good. Y'all keep them coming.
When you do a car like that, obviously you're going to think about it first. Paint the bottom black. You use rattle can, acrylic, or what?
I very seldom paint the bottoms of my car. Now, if there's low hanging fruit down here that's below the seal, I'll hit that with usually just the light sand or the brown or something just to keep it from being black. That's the big. And it's a glossy black, and it just your train is just floating on this black abyss. It's just floating and going around there. You know, you can't see the wheels, can't see the side frames. And it's under the light, it's in the shade. You got a black side frame, black cars in the shade. It don't stand a chance of getting this picture made. So,
I'll share something I do. I'm lazy, okay? I have a paint color that I call Yuck,
yep,
which is Model Master Leather and Model Master Battleship Gray. 50-50.
okay,
And I actually paint my tracks with it too, before I ballast it.
okay,
But like, I have a car, it's a caboose, and I tried it out on the express trucks that I put on my caboose. Man, it makes it pop. It just, I mean, like, it's a nondescript color. I mean, like, that's pretty accurate, really.
yeah. Like I said, anything other than black, it gives it. You can see now that your train is resting on something,
Yeah.
and it's actually going down the track. So, what I want to do is let's go back to this car, and we painted the trucks. They're still kind of dark, so I'm gonna take some gray, just dump it in there, and a little bit of alcohol. I'm gonna put it in the over here in the side. That was real good, Dave. All right, and a soft brush. Wet the brush. Pull up this gray. I just want this is a gray wash. I don't want it white because that's too stark. And it can be a dark gray, light gray, probably a dark gray. We'd probably start with a dark gray and work with it. But this is a light gray. I'm just going to really thin it, way thin. Am I still in camera? Let me tighten it up a little bit. All right, and I didn't want that. No, that's not what I wanted. All right, Dave, you went too far. I don't know, that might work. This is weathering, right? You can't screw it up. All right, so.
You know, if it's too light, put a little more on.
Yeah, so let's get some more gray, a touch. And just kind of a wet, dry brush, just to not be so black, just to lighten it up a touch. But I want the colors to flow. If it's a wash, the colors will flow down into the side frames. And again, this is where I use my ugly brush. Will that help a little bit? I know that these trucks are really black. Let's just see if I don't want white. All right, here's what happens when here's I'm fixing to mess up. Here's what happens when you put straight gray paint to it. And it may not be all that bad. It can help. Just brush it on. And if this car is around any light colored area, New Mexico, Arizona, California, in a snowy area, that sure beats black. Did I mess up? I don't think so.
Just turn it over.
I'm not going there.
Good.
And I'm really not going that deep into the side frame, just kind of hitting the highlights. I don't want to go into the shadows. Let the shadows be shadows. So, this is something I've done this a couple of times with an oil paint. Let me get in the frame here. I've done it 2 times, and it wasn't worth the effort. Yeah, it was a lot more work. It dries really, really slow. You've got like a week to work with it, and I'm not that patient. But it's the same effect as the rust. Where did we do the rust? Up here on the roof, that right there. You can take that. Let me see. And you just kind of pull it down. I think that covered hopper between the wood chip and the tank car. See if you see a rust spot on there. A rust, I'm gonna say a dot, but where it was pulled down. Let me see. It may be that other covered hopper. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking. Let's see. No, I'm not seeing it. It's kind of here, but not. It's just where these spots right here are rusty, and especially right if you can see that one, where there's your dot of rust. That's where it's starting, and of course as it gets wet, that rust, it turns loose and runs down the side. So, and that's taken again like a alt brush or a 10 alt brush, dipping it into the paint, and you just go dab, 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 and you just keep dabbing around. And then when it dries, you can come up with a different color and go to that dab and just pull it down just a quarter inch, just a hint. It depends on how big the rust spot is. If it's a big rust like this, you'll want to pull a lot of it down. But that's just the beginning of rust. Because again, I'm doing the 50s too, so there's not going to be a lot of rust. It's not going to be unless it was hauled in something very acetic or alkali or something. But
cable in your car?
And on my layout, it's aggregate, not aggregate, flour. It goes to the bakery.
Okay.
Yeah. Aggregate, I think, is shorter and has square hatches. I don't know. A covered hopper on my layout, my railroad, my rules. This car goes over there. I do not put tank cars under the aggregate. I do have some scruples. So, if you got wood blocks like this, these come in really handy, not just for straight lines, but if you're needing to file something, it gets you to something to push down on while you're filing, and keeps your knuckles off the table. I use these things all the time. When I'm soldering rail, you got the two joints to come together, and while the solder is molten, push this over the joint to force the two rails, the tops, to be the same height. So that way, then you just, while the solder is cooling, and once it's cooled, you just lift it off. Or when it's not molten anymore, you can lift it off, and your tops of your rails will be. Yes, sir.
I have an opinion about that. My previous layout, I used code 83, and I used code 70 rail joiners.
Okay.
Yes, they're tight.
Yep, they are.
Which is exactly what I wanted.
Yep. But not everybody's doing that. So I know the Atlas rail joiners are kind of sloppy, especially with the microengineering code 83 rail, and because I used code 83 microengineering for the turnouts, but Atlas 83 for the flex track, and the rail joiners. There's a little bit of slop in there, but this just takes that out. And just...
Extension or a tangent from that idea. My layout is code 70. My sidings are code 55.
Okay.
And what I did is I drove brass nails in the row bed and soldered the code 55 to the top of the brass rails.
Okay. To make up to that little buffer, that bushing or to shimmy. Yeah. Okay.
David, I'm a Robot fan. I got more robot cars than I really dig on my railroad. I just got a passion for those robots on, especially the ones got the metal roofs on them.
Yeah.
With everything, they just full of all kinds of rust.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have ever mind.
Hand me that gondola, right?
I used up a real
The gondola.
Mixture of
Yeah, that's it.
ink and alcohol, real thin, not heavy but thin.
Yeah.
And I use a real wide brush, and I start by just brushing all that solution on both sides and in
Yep.
to give it a knock all that yellow down. Then I start applying my rust in different colors.
Yeah, to tone the yellow down, especially a car like this. Yeah.
It's gotta be real thin wash.
Yeah.
First,
yeah.
what I end up doing.
Yeah, you can do the black wash, you can do a white wash,
Yeah.
and this gondola, as far as weathering goes, we lost it.
I got some pictures of some grill box cars that you from the top, where all the rust, there's not it looks like the whole car top is nothing but a sheet of rust.
No paint.
No,
The paint's long been gone. Yeah. So now, gondolas, they're like the redheaded stepchild of the railroad. They don't get any respect. And I've got one that I did worse than this, but this to beat up the sides of the car. I'll take a candle and I'll try, and I usually have a pencil or a paintbrush, and I'll hold it over the candle. If this is my candle, and I'll just count 1001, 1002, 1003, and see if I can flex it any. Okay, not long enough. Okay, we'll do 4. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. It's kind of soft, but not pliable enough. So once I've got my standard, if 5 seconds of my counting down works, then and if 5 is the answer, okay, now that's good. Now and I can all work now and just keep working my way down to the car. That way it's repetitive. It's not guesswork every time. You know, that went, okay, that one's for the trash. or this one here goes behind the roundhouse in the junk pile or something like that. But yeah, just being repetitive, being able to repeat your mistakes, or but if I can get that.
Repeat your successes.
And that too. So I think maybe with that you can see the back and forth going down the sides of the tops of the car, if you can see that. And I just left some junk in there. Yeah, we cleaned it out. Not my job, right? So.
Is the bottom of that paint or is that powder?
That is.
Are you looking at the white thing?
No, you're looking at the surface of the car. I'm gonna say paint. It's probably a flat paint with powders, and I probably took one of these and I loaded up the brush and I just dab to get to get it around. Then you go back and with the brush and work it in, so that it's somewhat random because you got different strengths where you dabbed. It was heaviest when you first dabbed, then it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So you might go from one end to the other, work your way to the middle, but it's getting heavy, lighter. It is where there's nothing, and then you just kind of come back and blend it all in. So how many of y'all have something of this at home already? Right? Everybody's got it, but you haven't used it, but I showed you a Q-tip and Windex, a Q-tip and alcohol. Start all over. Yeah.
I haven't done anything for a long time, but basically I was using an airbrush with this yucky paint.
Yeah.
With pretty good results. The other thing I use is alcohol with empty ink.
Yep. And like I said, this was only 9 milliliters. You could double it to 18 milliliters. I think they said I want to say teaspoon.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, to 16 ounces. And if you want to double it, do 2 teaspoons to 16 ounces. If you want a heavy.
It's easier to make it darker.
Yeah. I started off with 9, and you saw what 9 worked. And I said, well, I can add more, but let me try 9 first. I've tried 9 and I like it. It works. And I was trying to Google Alexa or whoever, what's the equivalent milliliters to a teaspoon, and I didn't like the answer, so let me just try 9 milliliters. So, and AI ain't always correct, I can tell you that. And I don't know how to correct AI when it's wrong, but that's
Google speaks before it's done.
yeah. Well, and it's supposed to be AI, it's supposed to be the all-knowing, all-seeing, but they just load all this stuff in this. Well, okay, you gave it all these books. What about all the fiction books that you put in there? The Star Trek books you put in there. It's so. I think I'm gonna say that was with airbrush with a very thin whitewash to lessen the black, so that it's not black. Just it's a faded black. It's been out in the sun. It's been down the road, down the rail. It's been from Atlanta to Chattanooga and back and over to Savannah and sat in Savannah for a week. And it's just, So, that Atlanta, what is that card closest to me? Atlanta and West, it's not A&WP. Yeah, the yellow looking. Just let me have that and I can show you where I pull down the black. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and this is just I load up the brush and just start up here and just start pulling it down, and it looks natural. And over here with the Atlanta and Western, the RR, just pull it down. It doesn't look that high. It's not overdone, just a hint. Here I just did one side. I didn't do the full thing, and you just mix it up. So and just powders, and if you don't like it, you can powder over it. If it's It's kind of hard to lighten it. You can always darken it. If you put black down, you might can come back with a lighter color and it might lighten it. But if you start off light and you come with the black, it's definitely going to get darker. It will definitely get darker. So,
Then is it, just any weathering that makes it look used.
anything to put some miles on it,
Huge step.
to take the new off of it.
Right.
To me, when it's new, it looks toy-like.
Yeah,
And a sitting rail side, watching trains go by, whether you're got caught at the grade crossing or if you're out chasing trains, you look at the trains, and about the only thing that might look pristine is the unit coal train, because that's the newest stuff. It's aluminum and it doesn't rust, and it goes. But you look at a manifest train going through, look at the bottom seal down here. That's where your trucks and everything is going to be the dirt and grime. But usually it's going to be a faded, especially if it's spent any time in Florida, it's going to be faded. It just takes a beating. It's outdoors all the time. I don't know if they ever get a fresh coat of paint. They come into the shop maybe for a bearing or a wheel set exchange. They don't get paint. They just fix it and back out it goes for revenue. You know, if it's sitting in the shop, it ain't making money, it's costing. So out back on the road you go, you know, earn your keep. So anything just to take the shine off and take the toy off, make it look like it's got some miles on it. Like it's been down the track a time or two.
I asked if you ever tried the X21 flat base technique for baking.
The X21?
So what it is my X21 flat base. Really easy technique. You can dilute a little bit with the alcohol and just slop it on, brush it on. And it's clear, but in about 10 or 15 minutes it dries white. And you take a stiff brush and you start just taking it off. And what it leaves you with is a faded car.
Okay.
Really easy to do. It doesn't take any art at all. You can keep. Have you tried that?
No,
You can just try to keep, getting nooks and crannies with a brush and getting it. And then, so it's really a pretty easy thing to fade.
I haven't tried it, but saw this.
Easy. It's my X21 flat base. And then you dilute it with you can dilute it with alcohol, you just slop it on your car. And it's going to be clear in about 10 or 15 minutes, start turning milky white. And then you just take a stiff brush and you start brushing it all off.
I wonder if it would work with this. This is Tester's flat dull coat. Of course, you shake it up. You could put something in there with it, or put it in a little tub like this and add something to it, and you just brush it on there. And you don't have to use the whole bottle. But this is flat that can be brushed on. So when I'm doing a locomotive renumbering, and I don't want to dull coat the whole locomotive and gloss coat the whole locomotive to put on a decal, I can just gloss coat right where the numbers are, and is where, for instance, this is a bad example. You say you got a room with some corners and stuff. Instead of painting the whole room, you just paint from corner to corner. You don't have to paint the whole room. As long as you got the same paint, it may not be an exact match, but you just paint from corner to corner and it'll blend in. I was going somewhere with this. The numbers. So if I've got the edge of the cab to the edge of the cab, I'll just gloss coat that after I've removed my numbers, gloss coat it, put my new decals on there, and then once that dries and I've done my solva set and everything and it's ready, then I come back and flat coat that and then take off the masking tape. And I've gone just the cab. I didn't have to do the whole cotton picking locomotive.
I think the Tester's dull coat has a little bit of a talc in it.
Okay.
And so it gives a faint, kind of light, dusty coat.
Okay. Yeah. And the fellas, I hadn't tried this. I don't have a new car, but he said that if you just take a paper towel, and I've already dull coated this, but if it was nice and shiny, you can just take the paper towel and just rub it and rub off, and you can see some of the paint coming off on the paper towel, and that'll get you to a flat surface. So, but it's just, I mean, why not just go ahead and dull coat? rub. I could have gone outside, done my tape, put it on there, shaking it, the rattle can, sprayed it, brought it back inside, and it'd be dry before I got through all 5 sides of the car. But yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
But it catch the cat first.
Yeah, or herd it. Get all these cats rounded up. So, all right. So we learned how to. The buildings. It's pretty much the same. Just take the roof, dull coat it. Take different shades of gray. Little drips around the chimneys and vent pipes. Usually around the windows. Not so much these windows, but I would take some white and do little rain drips at the corners of the windows. But this was already looking pretty good. It didn't go to that level. But on my industrial buildings, yeah, because they're there, they don't get cleaned. So after a couple of years, you'll get little rain drips at the corners of the windows. And just this one's a little bit longer. This one's a little bit shorter. This one's really short. This is really long. Just kind of scatter the lengths around. So. Jerry, how did you do?
It's a start.
Well,
I didn't. I think when I've tried Pan Pastels before, that it could be the way I dealt with it. Pan Pastels seem to stick better than this brand here.
like I said, you got to take a stiff brush. Pass your car up here. Let me see what you got.
I'm sorry?
Pass your car up here. Let me see what you got. All right. Okay. So you're working on the one. This is the before,
That's before it's
and this is the after.
right.
All right.
Just
So
playing around with putting the paints on.
okay. So are you happy with what you got?
No.
Okay. What would you like for it to look like different?
It should have a lot more road dust on it.
Okay. So let's do this. Again, y'all don't have a stiff brush, but if I were to come down here, I'm going to be heavy around here where the trucks are. Now stop me if I'm not doing what you want.
No.
Let's go to the other end. Yeah. And where's that Q-tip and alcohol? Keep it nearby. All right.
Is that the same brand?
This is the light sand, but now I've got a stiff brush.
Right, but it's hobby lobby, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I can brush it off.
But I'm forcing this. I'm pushing into the paint. I'm pushing. I'm grinding it into the paint. There's a small fee for this, by the way. All right. Now, let's take this. Now that stark white, let's kind of tone that down a little bit. Let's take some of this.
That black that you put in.
All right. Let's do this. Let's change. This is brown dust. Let's do this is called concrete. It's going to be a gray color. Okay. And like I said, this stuff is very, very fine, and it goes a long way. I'm just gonna put just a dab on the brush, and I'm gonna go tap. And go over here and tap some more. Come back over here. And with bum fingers.
I'm sorry. What brand is it?
This is, I don't know. But I'm sure AK Products and MIG and they'll make a set. I think this was a set that was at an IPMS show. But and this is it's just a concrete color. It's gray. So let's go. And
check out Thomas Boyd's layout.
Right.
And when he weathers his locomotives, he weathers them and based on a picture of that locomotive.
yeah, if you've got a reference photo, that helps. All right, so let me do this. Your door locks and hinges and stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna try. See if I can control this. I'm gonna go into the lid here and get some. And just kind of accentuate them a little bit. Kind of bring out the detail that they are there. They're probably greasy and this was not black. This was cargo dust is what they call that, but and it didn't need to be black. Now let's run across the top up here. Pull off a little bit more. Hit the top, hit the top, hit the top. Okay. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not above taking tips at the but so and I'm just rubbing it with my thumb, and it's just that should leave a pretty stout remnant. So you should be able to handle it now without any problem. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Any last final questions? Everybody's just so confused they don't know what to ask, right?
No, that's a good idea.
Okay. All right. Well, we had a good round table. Ideas passed around back and forth. What I want you to do is not be afraid to what you got at your hobby bench. Pull it out, be it paints, powders, pastels. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Looks like you were able to be pretty successful without the dull coat, because. Yep. Yep. Well, let's see. I don't have any respect for Pennsylvania or. So yeah. Yeah. That looks about right. That looks about right. Especially in the Depression days of the 70s and early 80s. That's good. You get a passing grade. All right. All right, we'll see y'all next month. Same bat channel, same bat time. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Steve.
It's over.
Thank you.